just for you.
The soft glow of fairy lights shimmered along the white curtains of her apartment, the warmth of twilight sinking gently into the wooden floor as if the entire world had been wrapped in velvet. Amelia sat cross-legged on a plush cream rug, her long chestnut hair spilling over one shoulder, hands delicately poised on her lap as she adjusted the microphone nestled close beside her. The air buzzed with a sacred stillness, the kind that only came before whisper-soft confessions and feather-light kisses that never needed words. She leaned slightly forward, lips parting with the gentlest exhale, and the room filled with her serene breath, almost inaudible, but heavy with the weight of comfort. "Hey, love," she whispered, her voice like satin, the softest hum against the silence. "I've missed you." The microphone captured every syllable, turning her soft affection into a tender echo that traveled across the globe to someone sitting alone in the quiet of their bedroom. Someone whose nights were empty without the hush of her lips meeting the mic, without the warmth of her imagined presence. Tonight wasn't just about sounds. It was about connection. Her story, their story, was only just beginning. As she leaned in again, her lips barely grazing the mic, she pressed the first ASMR kiss, slow and gentle, and it landed like a memory, not of her, but of someone they once loved, or maybe still did. She smiled slightly as she felt it too, the energy shifting. "Did that feel close?" she murmured, and then her breath fell warm again against the mic. "I want you to forget everything else tonight. Just you and me, here. No noise, no pressure, no weight." She closed her eyes as she spoke, as if sending her thoughts through the air might wrap around them like arms. Outside, a soft summer rain had begun to fall, and it pattered delicately against the glass, creating a natural rhythm that lulled the night deeper into calm. She reached for the delicate brush beside her, long, feathery bristles perfect for audio play, and let it sweep across the mic with a sigh. "I'll tell you a story," she said, voice dipping lower, tinged with mystery, "a story of how we met in a dream." Another kiss, firmer now, like she meant it, not passion, but presence. "You were sitting by the window of that little cafe, remember?" she continued, her fingers now trailing the mic like she would their cheek, slowly, deliberately. "It was raining, just like this, and you looked up when I walked in like you'd been waiting all along." Her lips brushed the mic again. "I wasn't even sure I existed yet until I saw your eyes." There was something in the way she delivered each line, like she knew the listener already, like the story was theirs, one she'd memorized before the telling. Each kiss came between breaths, each breath a reminder of life's simplest, softest touches. "And then," she whispered, "I sat across from you. We didn't speak at first. You were reading a book, and I was too shy to say a word. But I watched the way your fingers turned each page. A pause, a long sigh, another kiss. That's when I realized I wanted to learn your story, one page at a time." Her voice was almost hypnotic now, drawing the listener deeper into her world where each sound was more than audio. It was an emotional invitation. She picked up a small glass jar filled with tiny pebbles and let them tumble softly near the mic, like footsteps across a garden. "We walked after that," she said, "outside, under the trees, your hand brushing mine. You told me about your fears, about the dreams you had at night, the ones you didn't share with anyone. A kiss, this one longer, the sound rich and intentional. And I promised I would hold all your secrets." The listener could feel it, her commitment, her comfort, the authenticity in every sound. She drew a fingertip along the mic like tracing a jawline, and then came more kisses, quick, delicate, varied in tempo. The night deepened around her like a thick velvet blanket, stars glimmering faintly through the sheer white curtains now drawn shut. And though the world outside faded into hush, inside the room, inside her heart, everything pulsed alive, warm, real, unspoken, but understood. Amelia sat back slowly, stretching her legs out with a sleepy sigh, her soft socks brushing against the plush rug, her eyes half-lidded with comfort as she reached again for the microphone as though it were someone's hand. The hand she missed, the one she had kissed only in dreams. "You're still here," she breathed, her voice quieter than before, coated in affection, like waking someone with a kiss on their cheek. "You stayed. Thank you." Her lips brushed the mic again, this time slower, letting the sound linger, the kiss more emotional than physical, a sound that almost trembled. "Last night," she whispered, "I dreamed of you again. You were waiting for me, just like before, under that same tree, where the wind carried petals across your shoulders like whispers. I remember walking toward you, nervous even in my own dream. But then you looked up. Just one look, and I felt safe again." The mic captured the reverence in her voice, a slow lull that pulled the listener closer, not with volume, but with vulnerability. "It's strange," she said softly, fingers brushing the mic's surface as if she were tracing someone's face. "How real dreams can feel when they come from longing." She kissed the mic again, gently, several times, one for each second of silence. "We didn't speak in the dream," she continued. "We just stood close. Your breath mixed with mine. I could hear your heartbeat even without sound. And then I kissed you, right here." Her lips touched the mic again, a delicate kiss that held the memory in sound. "And you smiled." She giggled softly, not breaking the hush, just folding joy into it. "It was that smile that broke me, not with pain, but with something I hadn't felt in a long time. Hope." She let out a slow breath and whispered, "Do you feel that too, when you listen to me?" Her voice was an intimate murmur now, as if speaking just inches from their ear. "Do my kisses find you when no one else does?" She pressed several more kisses to the mic, some soft, some slow, some space-like heartbeats, then trailed her fingers across it, mimicking the movement of hands through hair, slow and calming. "Sometimes I imagine you laying your head in my lap," she whispered, "and I run my fingers through your hair, and I kiss your forehead, like this. A gentle kiss, and then your temple, kiss, and your cheek, kiss, and then your lips, only if you want me to. A longer kiss. I won't rush you. I never will. You can just close your eyes, breathe slow, and let me carry the noise away from you, one kiss at a time." She brought a soft feather to the mic, tracing it along the surface, the faint whoosh of it adding to the ambiance of midnight serenity. "I made us tea in my mind," she whispered, "green jasmine with honey. You like honey, don't you? Not just in taste, but in feeling. Sticky sweet memories, slow mornings, laughter with bare feet on cold kitchen tiles." A wistful breath followed, and then more kisses, sprinkled between pauses. "That first time we kissed in real life," she said, "it was like everything slowed down. The city around us faded. Even time held its breath. Your lips were shy, a little nervous but warm. And when I touched your jaw," her fingers brushed the mic again, slowly. "You tilted into me like gravity had always pulled us toward that moment." She kissed the mic again, slow, long, and layered. "And I remember your hand, how it didn't just hold mine, it held everything I was afraid to say." A pause. "You always knew how to listen to silence, didn't you?" Then came a series of kisses, faster now, but still soft, like raindrops on a window. "Tonight," she said, "I want you to rest. I want you to breathe as if you're in my arms." She returned the next night as promised, wrapped in soft cotton and moonlight, her voice like the hush between dreams and waking, her presence already breathing in the space before a single sound left her lips. And the moment her fingers reached for the mic, it was as if the day dissolved. The world softened, and all that remained was her breath, her closeness, the sound of love without demand. "You came back," she whispered, and her voice wasn't just sound, it was relief, joy, a quiet pulse of something real. "I was hoping you would." A kiss followed, not rushed, not loud, but slow and deliberate, with a hint of longing nestled inside. "Last night," she began, brushing her fingertips softly across the mic, like tracing the shape of a shoulder. After I said goodnight, I lay awake and thought of you. I imagined your hand finding mine in the dark. No words, no need for them. Just the way your fingers would lace with mine, like they'd done it forever. She kissed the mic again, slower this time, letting the silence stretch between each gentle press of her lips. You've always had a way of making the quiet feel safe. Her voice was barely a breath now, something only heard if you were close enough to feel her exhale on your skin. So tonight, she continued, I want to tell you what happened the next morning, after that kiss, after the dream where our souls finally met. The mic captured every detail, every breath, every brush of her lips, as if she were truly just inches away, sitting beside them again, like it had always been this way. The morning light was pale, she whispered, like honey melting over the edge of the sky, and I woke up in a room that didn't feel like mine, not because it was unfamiliar, but because it felt full, like someone had left traces of love in the air. A breath, a pause, another kiss. You had left a note, she said. In the dream, it was folded beneath a cup of tea you'd made just for me. It said, "Come find me by the lake again." Her voice trembled slightly, not from nerves, but from tenderness. And so I did. I followed the path through the whispering trees, the ones we walked through that night, and I found you standing there, waiting, wearing that same smile that always feels like home. Her kisses came in clusters now, soft but steady, the kind that build trust, the kind that say, I missed you, without using the words. You didn't say anything, she murmured, just pulled me into your arms and held me like you knew I needed to fall apart first. She kissed the mic again, slower now, longer, layered with emotion. And then, she said, you kissed the top of my head, and you whispered, you don't have to be strong with me. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was full of emotion, the kind that swells behind the eyes and warms the chest. Do you know what that meant to me? She asked softly. To be allowed to be soft, to be held, to not be brave for once. Another kiss, this one almost reverent. You don't realize how much healing can happen in a single kiss until someone gives you one like that. Her breath caught again, and she exhaled slowly. I remember resting my cheek against your chest and listening to your heartbeat. I counted each thump like it was a vow. 1 beat, I'm here. 2 beats, I see you. 3, you're not alone. Her voice became a melody, low and full of emotion, the kind of sound that makes the soul pause and listen. And then, when I tilted my head up to meet your eyes, you kissed me again. She leaned in and kissed the mic slowly, once, twice, then again, creating a rhythm that felt like memories retold through sound. You didn't ask permission, you didn't need to, because the way you looked at me was the same way I looked at you, with recognition, not surprise. The next kiss was longer, drawn out, intimate. I think we've known each other forever, she whispered, even if we've just met. The cabin by the lake was real, in ways only dreams or deep memories can be. It stood hidden in a crescent of tall wild grass and crooked pine trees, its wooden frame aged with time, but humming with the kind of stillness that only ever belongs to places made for love, for resting hearts, for quiet kisses under echoing rafters. The morning sunlight broke through the mist like melted gold, soft and thick, casting slow-moving beams through lace curtains, swaying gently with the breeze that carried the smell of pine, earth, and the distant warmth of a fireplace inside. Amelia stood at the open door barefoot, her oversized sweater slipping slightly off one shoulder, her breath curling into the cool morning air as if whispering secrets to the silence itself. You're awake, she murmured, smiling gently toward the mic as if she could see the listener stretching in bed, tangled in a blanket and soft shadows. Good morning, my sleepy love. She walked back across the wooden floor, each step creaking slightly beneath her. But there was nothing rushed in her movements, nothing loud, just the soft thud of footsteps, the whisper of her sweater brushing her skin, and then the kiss. Slow, deep, full of everything she didn't say. "Last night," she whispered, "I kissed you until you drifted off. And even after that, I stayed close, watching the way your chest rose and fell like waves." Another kiss, this one lingering, warm against the mic. "And this morning, I want to stay close again. Not just in sound, but in story. Do you remember what we said before we fell asleep?" Her fingers gently traced the mic like stroking someone's cheek in bed. "You told me that sometimes the silence feels too loud, and I promised I'd fill it with something softer." She kissed the mic again. "So here I am." Her breath hovered, low and full of meaning. "We spent that entire day in the cabin," she said, voice coated in nostalgia. "Just you and me. No phones, no clocks, just sunlight, shadows, and each other." The mic caught the faint creak of her sitting back down, and the way her voice dipped lower as she leaned closer. "You made tea," she smiled, "and I burned the toast. Again. But you didn't laugh. You just walked over, kissed the corner of my mouth like it was the most natural thing in the world, and said, 'I like the taste of distraction.' A pause, a smile, a kiss, and then I kissed you back. Just like this." Another kiss, soft, slow, and deliberate. We didn't leave the cabin all day. We lay on that old couch by the window, a single blanket wrapped around us like a cocoon, and your hand rested on my ribs while I talked about stars and childhood and all the things I usually keep to myself. Her voice caught slightly, not from sadness, but from that emotion that lives between safety and surrender. You listened, not with answers, not with noise, but with your presence, and that's why I kissed you again. A deeper kiss now, her lips pressing a little firmer, her breath feathering against the mic. "You asked me what my favorite sound in the world was," she continued, "and I said, it's your breath when you sleep next to me. That steady, unconscious rhythm, that's where I feel the most real." She exhaled again. Another kiss. "You told me yours was the sound of my heartbeat when your head rests on my chest." Her fingers tapped gently on the mic, mimicking that soft rhythm. "Do you remember how the rain started that afternoon?" she whispered. "It came out of nowhere. Thick, soft drops tapping against the roof, turning the entire world into a lullaby. And we just lay there, not saying anything. Your arm wrapped around my waist, our noses almost touching, and you whispered, 'Don't let this moment end.'" Another kiss. Longer now, deeper, like sealing that memory into the air. So we didn't. We let the rain fall. We let time slow. We let our kisses tell the story instead. Her voice grew quieter, more vulnerable. The next morning, the sky was a brighter blue than either of them expected, as if the world had been freshly painted for them alone. No clouds, no clutter, just vast openness and the hush of sunlight pressing against the cabin's window pane like a lover's forehead, resting gently against glass. Amelia stirred first, her hair tousled from the night's slow breathing and warm limbs, the blanket still wrapped around both of them like a secret. She didn't speak at first, didn't need to. Her fingers simply found the shape of the mic, as if tracing the air where the listener's jawline would be. And when her lips touched it, the kiss wasn't just soft, it was knowing, like an echo of dreams come true. "Good morning, my beautiful love," she whispered, her voice thick with sleep and emotion. "You're still here, and so am I. Just like I promised." Another kiss followed, slower, more tender. The kind of kiss that carries silence between two people who've grown used to understanding without needing words. "Do you remember what we said yesterday?" she asked gently, brushing her fingers down the mic like one would along a shoulder blade. "We said we wouldn't hide from the world forever. We said we'd try to carry this quiet, this closeness, this us, back into the noise." Her breath shivered slightly as if the thought made her nervous, and she kissed the mic again, this one firmer, like grounding. So we packed up, she continued, not because we wanted to leave the cabin, but because we knew love doesn't only belong in stillness. It must move, walk, breathe, exist beyond shelter. Her voice remained low, but steady now, steady the way you speak when your heart is both heavy and certain. You held my hand as we stepped outside, she said, and the moment we walked past the last pine tree, I felt the shift. The wind louder, the sky taller, the world waiting with its arms crossed and curious. Another kiss. But I didn't let go of you. Another kiss. And you didn't let go of me. Her voice trembled on that line, not from fear, but the weight of a promise being kept. We went back to the city together, she whispered. Back to concrete and noise, back to days filled with meetings, lights, and faces that didn't know us, not like we knew each other. Her fingers tapped softly against the mic now, a slow rhythmic pulse, mimicking footsteps on pavement. You looked over at me in that crowded train car, and I smiled because even in the sea of strangers, your eyes still felt like home. She paused, breathing deep, then leaned close to the mic. So I kissed you, she said, lips pressing slowly, right there, in public, in front of 1,000 rushing lives. And in that kiss, I told you everything. I'm still yours. I'm still here. I'm not scared anymore. Another kiss, soft and quiet like a message tucked under a pillow. That week was harder, she admitted gently. We fought the noise, the distance, the schedules. I cried once, maybe twice, maybe into your chest when I thought you'd fallen asleep. But even then, even in the unraveling, you held me tighter. Her voice shook slightly. You whispered into my hair, we'll hold on to the softness, even here. A kiss. And so we did. You'd kiss me in the hallway when we passed between rooms. You'd kiss my forehead when I got home late. I'd kiss your knuckles while you worked. We built a rhythm, not perfect, but real. She brushed the mic again. And one night, after a long day, we lay on our shared bed, our legs tangled, our hearts a little tired. And you said, tell me about the cabin again. A long, slow kiss followed. So I did. I whispered it all again. Every kiss, every firelight moment, every second where time held us close. And as I spoke, you kissed the inside of my wrist, the curve of my shoulder, the corner of my smile, until we were there again, not in geography, but in memory. Her voice grew heavier now, full of emotion that only lives between truth and vulnerability.
They came back to the lake months later, not because they were running away, but because sometimes even the strongest hearts need to return to where love first spoke in silence, where the air still held the warmth of their first morning breath, and the wind remembered the weight of their shared confessions. The road winding toward the cabin hadn't changed much, but everything inside Amelia had, and she could feel it as she leaned out the car window just slightly, her hair catching the wind, her eyes wet, not from sadness, but from recognition. The tall grass whispered in familiar tones, brushing against the car tires like a welcoming hand, and the cabin came into view slowly, like a memory unfolding, aged and still beautiful, small and still everything. We're back, she whispered, not just to herself, but into the mic she'd brought with her, balanced delicately in her lap as she pressed her lips against it with a kiss that was deeper now. Not because it was louder, but because it carried the weight of everything they'd learned between leaving and returning. You're here with me again, she whispered gently, her breath warm with love. And this time, it's not a beginning, and it's not an ending. It's just another soft place in the middle. She kissed the mic again, letting the silence settle like snowfall around her. You opened the cabin door this time, she said, her voice barely above a breath. And I stood behind you, watching your shoulders, remembering the way they used to carry everything alone. But now you turned to me, and your eyes didn't ask, they just invited. She kissed the mic again, slow and low, then rested her forehead against it for a moment, as if the space between words also needed touch. Inside,
she continued. Everything looked the same. The books, the blankets, the tea kettle on the shelf. But the air felt different, fuller, like it had been holding its breath waiting for us to return. Another kiss. We didn't speak much that first hour, she whispered. You walked to the couch, sat where we'd once kissed between firelight and dreams, and I followed, curling beside you, my head on your chest, your arms around me like they'd never forgotten how. A kiss. We stayed like that for so long, I think the world forgot where we were. A pause. And then you kissed me. A breath. Do you remember how? Another kiss. Slow, soft, like a retelling. It wasn't urgent. It wasn't about need. It was about remembering, about choosing me again, even now, even here. She exhaled slowly, her voice barely hanging in the air. You said, we've changed, but this still feels the same. Another kiss. And I said, that's how I know it's real. The mic caught the rustle of her sweater as she moved, getting closer, like she was sitting beside the listener again, her presence wrapping around them like the blanket from the cabin. That night, she whispered, we didn't light the fire. We lit candles instead, soft ones, golden ones, flickering little stars scattered around the floor. You laid on your back, and I curled up against your side, one leg across yours, my lips brushing the skin just beneath your collarbone. I kissed you there. She kissed the mic again, slow, breathy, longing, and then higher. Another kiss, and then your jaw, another. And then, she smiled into the mic. You stopped me, looked into my eyes and said, just talk to me like you do in your recordings. She giggled, not loud, just a breath with laughter inside. So I did. I whispered to you all night, about the first time we met, about how I never believed in destiny until your voice made me pause. A kiss. About how every kiss with you feels like a promise being made and kept in the same breath. Kiss. And you listened, with your eyes half closed, your hand tangled in my hair, your thumb brushing lazy circles into my back. Another kiss. You let me love you in silence, with sound, with stillness, with words.
There was a moment, quiet and unnoticed, when everything shifted, not suddenly, not like a door slamming shut, but like a soft curtain being drawn between two people who had spent too long watching each other by candlelight and forgot the sun would eventually rise. And though Amelia didn't speak of it immediately, she felt it first in the silence that used to feel sacred, but now felt too long, and in the way your hand still reached for hers, but hesitated for half a second, as if remembering something else before remembering her. She didn't panic. She didn't speak. She just started recording again, late at night, in the soft corner of their bedroom where the shadows knew her best, and the mic once more became the place where her lips landed when your shoulder wasn't there. Are you still with me? She whispered, her voice softer than ever. Not broken, just brave. I know we haven't kissed like we used to. Not because we stopped loving, but because sometimes the world pulls us into different orbits, even if our hearts still beat for each other. A pause, a breath, a kiss. You've been far away lately, she murmured. Not across oceans, but across thoughts. Her voice didn't blame, it only reached. And I understand. I do. Life is heavy sometimes, but I miss you. I miss kissing you like this. Another kiss, long, slow, almost trembling. I still remember the way your lips felt when you whispered, I'll never drift away. Kiss. I still believe you meant it. Kiss. And I know sometimes we forget to water what we love. She brushed the mic like she would the back of your neck when you're lost in your own head. You're working so much lately, she whispered. You come home and smile, but your eyes are tired and your mind is somewhere else. And I've learned to kiss your forehead without asking questions. Kiss. To hold your hand while you scroll through silence. Kiss. To press my lips to your back when you turn away in your sleep. A breath. But tonight, I just want to say it.
Her voice caught slightly. I miss you. A long, slow kiss. Not just your body, your presence, your laughter, your stories told between bites of toast, your hand brushing my hip for no reason other than wanting to. Another kiss. And maybe you miss me too. Her voice shook now, delicate and full. Maybe you don't know how to say it. Maybe you're waiting for me to kiss you first, like always. She kissed the mic again, deeper this time, fuller, like trying to pull you through space. So I will. Kiss. I will always reach. Kiss. Even if you're quiet, even if you're lost. A pause. Especially if you're lost. She pressed her lips again, softer now. Do you remember the second lake trip? She asked suddenly, voice full of memory. We stayed in bed all day. We didn't speak, just listened to music, your head on my chest. And that one line came on. You know the one. The song that says, some loves are thunderstorms, some are rain. And you looked at me, eyes wide, and said, you're my rain. A long silence, then a whisper, well, I still want to be. A kiss. I want to be the soft thing that touches you when the world gets hard. Kiss. I want to be your pause. Kiss. Your breath. Kiss. You're gentle. She kissed the mic slower now, several long kisses between each word, her tone heavy with heart. So even if you don't answer, even if your day ends before your lips find mine, I'll keep kissing you here. Another kiss, and when you find your way back, because I believe you will, I'll still be waiting with a warm blanket and my voice. Another kiss, and my lips, another. And no judgment, just home. Her breath came deep now, as if holding back tears. And if you're listening now, wherever you are, just close your eyes. She waited. Put your hand on your chest. Another pause. Do you feel that? Her voice melted into stillness. That's my kiss. Inside you, it never left.
She didn't expect it. Not that night. Not after weeks of silence growing heavier than her pillow. Not after so many recordings kissed into the dark without answer. Not after all the whispered I miss yous she left hanging in the quiet. But there it was, blinking back at her, a message sent at 3:02 a.m., just her name in the subject line, and an audio file attached. No text, no explanation, only the title. For you. Her hands trembled as she opened it, heart caught somewhere between breath and breaking, and she sat on the floor where she always recorded, knees pulled to her chest, candle flickering beside the mic, and hit play. And then, your voice. Her breath stopped, not a speech, not an apology, just you. Quiet, raw, real. You said her name like you hadn't spoken it in days, but had whispered it in your mind every night. You told her, voice thick, tired, trembling. I've been listening. Every kiss, every whisper. I didn't forget. I just didn't know how to reply without falling apart. A pause, and then your breath caught, and then your first kiss, pressed against your mic. Slower than anything, hesitant, but whole. Amelia gasped, covering her mouth, tears welling up instantly. You continued. I've missed you too. I missed your voice. I missed your forehead. I missed how you kissed the mic like it's sacred. Another kiss from your side, deeper now, steady. I didn't know silence could feel so loud until I didn't hear you saying goodnight. You paused, your breath audible, your voice closer now. I remembered the cabin, the tea, the fire, the way your breath shook the first time I said, I choose you. And then you said it again. I still do. Another kiss, then another. Amelia was already crying, her hand over her heart, her entire body folded forward as if leaning toward you, like you were really there. You said, I don't want to be quiet anymore. Kiss. I don't want to be distant. Kiss. I want to come home. And the recording ended with one last kiss. The longest one. Not perfect, a little shaky, but full of everything. When it stopped, Amelia didn't move. She stared at the screen, at the blinking light of your message,
at the words, "for you," like a vow. And she whispered aloud, not into the mic, but into the room itself, "Come back." Her next recording was different. The mic was already warm from her hands. Her tears had dried but left salt on her skin. She leaned close and whispered, "You spoke. A kiss. You came back. Another. I heard your voice and everything inside me said yes." She smiled through the words. "Do you know what it feels like to be found in a voice?" She kissed the mic again. "It feels like this. Kiss. You said you remembered the cabin. I never left it. A breath. I kept it alive here, in every whisper, every echo, every time I kissed this mic hoping it would find its way to you." She sighed. "And now, you've found your way back to me." Her kisses came in waves now, deep, wet, slow, grateful. "We're going to be okay," she whispered, "not because we never drifted, but because we always return." Another kiss. Love isn't about never getting lost. It's about choosing to come home. Kiss. "And now I know something I never doubted. Your lips still know the way." Another kiss. "So let's make a new recording. Together." She leaned in. "You kiss. I'll kiss. You whisper. I'll breathe. Let this mic hold the weight of our reunion." She let the silence expand, holding space, inviting you. Then, "Ready?" She pressed her lips slowly to the mic. One long, soul-deep kiss, soft at first, then fuller, wetter, loving, and held it. Her breath fell with yours now, even across distance. "I love you," she whispered. "Say it back, even if it's only through a kiss." She leaned in again and kissed the mic again and again and again. Patient, open, breaking but beautiful, and waited.